Welcome back, everybody, to Boomer and Junior. It's your two favorite knuckleheads just sitting here and yapping about something or the other, but sometimes it's college football and sometimes it's not. My name's Boomer.
Me llamo Junior.
No, it's Junior? You have to go.
Oh, oh, sí.
No, Junior. Junior.
Pardon, por favor.
For those listening at home, the reason why, uh, Junior speaking in Espanol is because as of 2 days ago, we just got back from our week-long trip in Spain, which was muy bien, I might say.
Sí,
Sí,
muy
sí,
bien.
sí. We got all the basics right. We got where's the bathroom. We got where is the bar, and una cerveza por favor, which
Un
is una
cerveza, por
cerveza.
favor. Un aguila, por favor.
Aguila. Hey, that was a good beer. That was a
Aguila.
great beer. Zach did in fact pronounce it as Aguila the first time we got it.
Hey, you know what? I was like 4 glasses of sangria deep at that point.
That's
Still doesn't
incredible.
justify it. I just needed to provide that context.
No, it was no, it was still really funny. What a trip. For a little context, actually, I do want to throw a disclaimer out there. I know we said we were going to record an episode out in Spain. We just were moving
Yeah.
24/7, and it was a pretty packed week, and so we quite literally didn't have time to like pull out the laptop and the mics and set up an episode. Um, and also the only times that we were in the hotel room, I feel like we were exhausted.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that was a big thing. Yeah, it wasn't just the like tiredness from like the activities, but also like the jet lag and everything. Like never really shook it completely throughout the week. And so the combination of that and our other shenanigans kind of kept us pretty well worn out.
Pretty well worn out, I think so. Yeah, and then yeah, that whole travel back too was a whole thing. Yeah, Zach
Yeah.
had to go. Like, I only had the direct flight, thankfully, but Zach had to then connect and go all the way out west, which is crazy.
A direct flight, which was still 11 hours in its own right, not including the like extra 40 minutes we were sitting on the plane beforehand from a delay.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was crazy. My
Yeah.
goodness, got
Spain was
him in one.
electric though.
Yeah, Spain was electric. Zach,
Mhm.
what were your like? What was one of your highlights of the trip, buddy? Or we had so many.
Honestly, food being more enjoyable than I expected. I didn't know. I'm not like a super picky eater, but I'm not the most adventurous eater either.
That's a good
So
way to put
really
it.
enjoyed a lot of the new stuff I tried. That was good.
Yeah, and as
Um,
someone who's known Zach for a long time, just seeing how adventurous, like knowing how adventurous he normally is, and seeing how he was definitely stepping out of his bubble and enjoying the foods made me pretty happy.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
highlights go.
yeah, that nightlife in general, cheap
Good time.
alcohol, which we'll talk about more in a bit. And like just I don't know, Barcelona as a whole was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, the whole trip was amazing. Barcelona is like gonna be like a forever like elite time in my mind, but
Good.
Madrid was also great. It's just when you had to immediately compare to Barcelona, it just kind of fell behind a bit in my eyes. But yeah, Nick, how
No,
about you? What were
no,
your
dude.
highlights?
Oh man, there were so many is the thing. I think the fact that we got to see a La Liga game in person was a huge highlight for me. I've watched European soccer since I was like literally sub age of 10. And so to be able to watch a league game, not just a friendly over in the
Hmm.
US between two European teams was awesome. I think food was a pretty big high for me. Just the quality of food out there in Europe, it stands true with time. The United States food quality is just so depressing compared to Europe. It's not even funny. We won't like
Oh
even
yeah, that's a real thing too. We got to shout out our two favorite drinks for well, three favorite drinks for the trip: Aguila, Sangria, Fanta Orange.
Fanta Orange, but oh my god, dude. Uh, yeah, the thing I loved about like to slightly touch on this is like even if we had a couple glasses of sangria the night before, you didn't wake up with a hangover. Like and you didn't wake up feeling like you just absolutely got rocked. And so yeah, I think the highlight for me personally, like I think just the quality of food, prices were great. like, pretty much wherever we went, and just I think walkability was pretty awesome too. Also, just overall culture in that country,
Yeah.
truly, like, it's you can tell it's there, um, and also just really nice people, but yeah, that was pretty much
Absolutely. That was yeah, that was the other thing too. Yeah, with like really nice people and stuff. That was something that I remember I texted you before the trip, saw that there was some like protest outside of like
Barcelona,
the
right?
like kind of like embassy in Barcelona or whatever about like tourism or something like that. I was like, oh, that's exciting for us. Like, 1 week before we head out there.
A week
Never had any
out.
issues, really friendly people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, public transport was great. Loved it. It was awesome.
Oh, public transport. Don't even get me started. I
Dude,
what I would do to have a subway system accessible to me would just be everything.
yeah, I mean, it was great. You connected us everywhere. That was the incredible
Yeah.
part, right? Like, connected us
Mhm.
everywhere. I Spain lived up to what I wanted it to be. I'd been wanting to go there for a few years. I think it definitely is worth a trip for me now to go back and do the southern part. Because for folks
Mhm.
listening at home, we only did the 2 big hitters. We did Barcelona and Madrid, and we were told, like, "Gotta hit like, the coast of Spain. Like, gotta hit, like, Sevilla and, I think Valencia is on the coast too, and so, like,
Mhm.
gotta hit those cities as well, and that needs a whole other trip, and so that'll be a definitely return kind of place. I wanna check that out for sure. We're only there for a week, and we did a ton. Did a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That we did, yeah.
Lotta hits, yeah. Lotta hits.
Mhm.
That was a good time.
Speak
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, yeah, like you said, we did a lot of activities, and you alluded to this a bit a second ago. But yeah,
Yeah.
one of the activities that we did was we ended up getting tickets for an Atletico Madrid game, which was really cool. A Liga match, a league match, like you said. That was really exciting. They played.
Yeah.
Hold
Celt
on, hold on, hold on. Um,
Come on,
it's
Zachary.
like it's like Solida or something like that, but it has a G in there somewhere.
G, yeah, in the back half. Celta Vigo.
Celta Vigo. There we go. Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we initially so fun fact, this was the week of, El Clasico in Spain.
Yeah.
That was also crazy, but what ended up happening was not only were the tickets really expensive, but we were in Madrid the back half of our trip, and the game happened back in Barcelona on the same day. So we were in a completely different city altogether, but Atleti was playing on the Saturday we were in Madrid, and tickets were really, inexpensive, and there was a train that
They were
took us right.
reasonable. They weren't I mean, we still paid, like a little over 60 USD
Oh, that's right. That's right.
for the tickets after taxes and fees and everything. It wasn't like a dirt cheap ticket or
That's right.
whatever, but it was definitely reasonable though for a
Yeah.
matchup of its caliber as well between like, 2 top 3rd La Liga
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah, and especially the club. We got to watch, club legend Antoine Griezmann in person. That that alone, like, made it worth it for me. Like, we're talking, like, this guy's a legend, and saw them lose, unfortunately, but yeah, which was pretty depressing, right, Zach?
Yeah, that was a pretty tough scene, especially with it being like it'd be one thing if it was like
It was an
I don't know,
embarrassing
a
goal, man.
4-3 loss, whatever, something like that, but a 1-0, a
Lost at home.
1-0, yikes.
It was an embarrassing goal too for Jan
Yeah,
Oblak. Like,
yeah.
Jan cut off his line and, like, literally, like, the most cheeky chip shot over the goalie. The second the forward hit it, I was like, "This is gonna be embarrassing when it goes in." And lo and behold, it did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it
It was an
was.
yeah. Tough look for Atleti, but yeah, it was I think the vibe and the experience itself were so fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can get into that. That's kinda like the main segment I guess we wanted to do and talk about today was comparing our experience
Yeah.
with, our American sports stuff, whether it's, football, basketball, etcetera, compared to, European soccer or football as they call it over there.
Football.
Understandably so since actually use your foot
Use your
for it.
feet.
But, yeah, and kinda comparing the 2 experiences, kind of similarities within the sports, culture around the sports, etc. Um, and yeah, I think we can dive into our first topic there, which was bar atmosphere.
What a time.
Nick, Nick, we got €3 beers, which was like,
Oh,
350
yeah.
USD, just
Oh, yeah.
regular price, not a happy hour at all whatsoever. How
Yep.
crazy was that?
I think it truly speaks volumes of, like, how Europe views bar culture versus the US, at least from a profitability standpoint and a vibe standpoint. They're still gonna make profits, but, like, they also place a huge emphasis on vibe.
Mhm.
And we're talking, like, Grand VA, we're at a bar outdoors, it was great. Yeah, I think that was I think bar atmosphere in general, it's very different in Europe. Uh, you go there also, not to mention, like, remember the last place we went to, m m what was it was the Irish bar where we watched El
Yeah,
Clasico.
I don't remember what it's called, it was some odd name. I know what you're talking
No,
about,
no,
though,
it
yeah.
was it was Irish it was Irish name, but with every
Mhm.
beer we got, we were served a little appetizer, a little tapas plate,
Mhm.
and it was
Yeah.
incredible. And, uh, I think that was included in the price of the beer, but still, like, didn't really feel the effect of that on the final check. But,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was a great it was,
Yeah, I mean
very very justifiable to go out and, like, from a there's a reason why college kids love to go to Spain, right? There's a reason
mhm.
why they love to go to Barcelona and Madrid, and, when they're young and broke. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is a big thing from a sports viewing perspective, right? I mean, I'm normally one to, harbor my house, find interesting methods of, watching games, whatever I can scrounge together, and be able to pull up the games and watch them. Not really one to go out to a bar because, you're gonna pay 12, $15 for a drink and, how much ever for food and stuff like that. It's just so expensive
it gets
really quickly
expensive,
to do
man.
that. Um, but when you've got, €3, €4 beers or whatever at a bar, food is, not that ridiculously priced either. It's
Ugh,
makes it a lot easier to justify going out and watching the game. I think that's really cool, and that's what we saw a lot, right? When we watched a Champions League match at a bar in Barcelona. Shout out McCarthy's,
shout out McCarthy's.
OG right there,
I saw the
Barcelona right
coaster.
there.
I saw the coaster from when we went there.
Bang. There
Yeah,
we go. Yeah.
great shout
Um,
out McCarthy's in Barcelona. What a pub. What a vibe. The bartenders are so nice. These 2 guys, they were so chill. If
yeah,
anyone's ever gone there, like, check it out.
yeah. We had such a great time, we went back a second night because it was
We
that
did.
awesome.
We did,
Yeah,
and they were so nice.
yeah. But yeah, so at, like, McCarthy's, for example, it was packed for the Champions League matchup. We watched El Clasico at this different bar in Madrid. We Nick and I actually had a little bit of a weird set of events that got us there. The
This is
restaurant we wanted to
crazy.
go to for dinner didn't end up having their kitchen open until like 8 p.m. because they eat dinner super late there. And so we ended up just deciding to go to this bar that we picked out to watch the match early, which worked out well because we got there like an hour and a half before the
No,
match
way
started, I
more.
think.
Maybe an
Oh,
hour and a
no, it
half.
was like 2 hours or whatever, maybe.
Pretty close. It's pretty close to,
Yeah,
like, 2 hours
like 2
before the
hours
game.
beforehand, and yeah, by the time it was about an hour or so beforehand, I think they had filled up all of the seats in the bar, and, a couple other people, like, rotated out and some people were able to come in then, but we saw a lot of people try to come in and get turned away because the bar was just
Tons.
full. Granted, this is the equivalent of, like, like, The Game, like, Michigan o this would be like going to a bar in Columbus when Ohio State is playing at Michigan in football, right? So this
Yep.
is, kind of a fair comparison. This is a pretty big stake situation, but still, I mean, this was just some random, not in a particularly populous area of Madrid, that was just packed that early, which was insane.
Yeah, I think we kinda got gifted by the football gods there, I will say, or I guess the bar gods, depends on which ones you wanna talk through, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um, General stadium atmosphere, man, like, I kinda alluded to this, but, like, great vibes altogether. I think
Mhm.
doesn't matter where you are in Europe, they're big on chants. They're big on, like, just, like, screaming at the players and singing, and
Yeah.
it's I've always known this. Like, for folks listening, like, I've been a Manchester United fan since I was, like, sub age 10, and similar culture in England and Spain when it comes to soccer. They sing and they shout at the players during the game, and depending on who's got possession and things like that. And, yeah, it's truly like a bonding experience. I think it brings people and communities together, and it's unlike anything else, truly, like, these are coordinated songs, and it's like
Yeah.
it's something else, but yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I also thought there was interesting stuff, like, whenever there was, like, a questionable call on the field, all of a sudden, everybody in the crowd starts whistling, like, imitating the referee whistle and stuff like that. There were just so many of these, like, unspoken, or maybe not unspoken, but, like, things that just kind of happen and were, like, clearly just like, "Hey, if you know, you know." But
Yeah.
everybody in the stadium who's been there before knows and is getting in on it, so it was a very cool vibe being around and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think one thing that when you compare to, like, like, college football, for example, I do, really appreciate the marching bands that the teams have, and that was something that was not had at these stadiums. However, I think it was definitely made up for in a lot of ways by this kinda general crowd
Oh, yeah.
atmosphere, engagement, and stuff like that in the match, which was
Oh,
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
it was a vibe. I definitely wanna go back. I think you mentioned I don't know if you mentioned this too or not, but they don't have commercials during the game. It is
Yeah.
45-ish minutes of straight sport, and it's awesome. Now they do have, like, the in-game commercials, like the billboards and stuff in the back that advertise, and obviously they've got, sponsors up and down the football kits, right? And so but no, I think that's something I've always enjoyed. It's like there's always action, and you don't get lost from the game while the game is happening. I think a lot of friends that I've had from abroad that have come to the US are like, "Why does football have so many stoppages? Like, why is there an ad every 5 minutes or so?" And it's like, I get it too, man. You wanna see continuous sport. I get it. Then again, I've also watched
Mhm.
football for years now, so I'm, like, used to it now, but still.
Yeah. And I think, with the more physical nature in a lot of ways, like football in particular or like basketball, and also with those 2, I feel like, how do I phrase this? Like, in soccer, it's impressive, like, you're running a lot. I feel like it's a little bit more of, like, a smooth, like, consistent, like, you pick up the tempo some, but, like, you're not necessarily having to go hard as much, as frequently, I guess, as, like,
Yes, yeah.
basketball and football, and so
Yeah.
you need some types of breaks there, but I think we can all agree, though, that, like, commercial breaks are, like, there's too many and they're too long in college football right now in particular, for
Oh,
example, and so
yeah.
it'd be cool to see it kind of go back a little bit in that direction of, a little bit more of a continuous flow of a game.
Love of the sport, right? Love of the sport.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Now
mean, yeah.
something that's, getting more into the actual in-game play, this is a subject that we all love to talk about, actually hate altogether, is flopping. And it
Yeah.
is ever present, and I will say it is as bad as the stereotype as I had in my mind, going into this trip, watching these matches. It was pretty egregious at times. It was rough. You'd see guys, barely get nicked or not even get touched at all, flop, wipe out, cry on the ground for 5 minutes. Maybe not 5 minutes, but, I mean, it was pretty insane. That said, I kinda get it too. It's a little hard to, like, pick up some of these calls in a game or in a match, rather, like, as it's happening live because the refs are running around the field. It's a little difficult to pick it out,
It's tough.
and I it does end up selling, some calls, and a lot of times it does end up working out to get the, like, correct call, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but man, it was kinda painful to watch though.
Yeah, I think for me, I've just become so accustomed to I've watched this game for so long now that, like, I can tell right off the bat which one's an actual flop and which one's like, "Oh, crap, this dude definitely just got, like, a chunk taken out of his leg."
Mhm,
I know when there's gonna be a foul called, I know when there's, like, a card coming out. Um, also not yeah, anyway, like, yeah, it's definitely a thing of the game. They've taken a lot of, like, strides over the years, like, football as a whole to, like, take out flopping, like, nowadays, like, you can get a card for excessive flopping. Like,
mhm,
flopping is a call, in football definitely in the Premier League these days, I think also everywhere else. Like, if a ref sees egregious flopping, like, they're gonna get
mhm,
booked.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's quite the I'm glad you got to experience that because it's quite the, it's part of the game, right, unfortunately, and so,
mhm,
yeah, I don't know. It's like, on a much lighter level, it's like when you do, like, pass interference, right? Like, I think that's a really good comparison, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, that's what I told you during the match. I was like, "Yeah, I have no idea how to, like, define, like, when there's, like, a penalty there or whatever, when or sorry, a foul or whatever there when, like, something's
Yeah.
occurring." But I just like, it's the general vibe of, like, yeah, pass interference in American football, so it was interesting to
No, for
watch and
sure, dude.
kinda pick
No,
out.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
and quick
yeah.
shout out while I'm thinking about this with fouls occurring and something that was not a flop was you and I got to watch a red card. I think that was that
You
was
know,
during the match we watched before El Clasico, right? So this was on TV, but we remember we saw that red card. That
we
was
saw 2.
quite interesting to see.
We saw 2, bro.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did see 2. Yeah, yeah, that was insane. So we
For
saw 2 players from the same team get ejected, and they still managed to draw the match.
Yeah, for context, folks, right before El Clasico was playing, I think Real Oviedo, if please forgive me if I didn't get that team right, was playing another team in the Liga, and we saw them go down 1 man. It was a pretty rough tackle from behind, um, and then not that long after, like, you'll see 1 red card in a match every now and then. You'll see 1 red card. I don't remember the last time, quite frankly, I saw 2 straight red cards in a game, and Oviedo gets called again for a second red card, and they're down 9 men. They're down to 9 men,
Yeah,
and
'cause that's something too, I guess that's maybe like a thing I was hoping to get to with this, right, is,
mm,
in, like, basketball or football, a player gets ejected, you just send another guy in.
yeah,
In soccer, you just can't put somebody else in, but you can still do substitution for other players, but you are just missing a person on the pitch for the rest of the match.
yeah, it's like with penalties in hockey, right, and power plays where, like, you're temporarily down a guy, but they come back in, and yeah, I'm glad you got to experience that. I don't remember the last time, quite frankly. I don't even remember the last time I ever saw a team go down to 9 men. That's some FIFA level stuff, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that in person.
Mhm.
Yeah, they still managed to draw, which was impressive as hell. And yeah, I think if you're down 9 men and still can draw against 11, like, shout out to you, or really, what the heck's going on with the other team? Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Did you wanna talk about scheduling real quick, Zach?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that was kind of the final note, I guess, that was popping up and that we kind of noticed because we were just like talking about stuff because Nick and I are obviously major sports fans. That's why we have this, podcast and everything. Um, and that was another interesting thing too, was, hearing about like the scheduling and how long these teams play throughout the year, right? So they start in mid-August and play through late May for the most part. And I think that didn't even include, like, some of, like, the friendly, like, preseason
Dude,
stuff they have maybe in, like, late July, early August too on top of that.
you're so it's not just that, right? You're playing that long, you're more than likely in the top divisions, playing across multiple different tournaments.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
not just that, if you're I'm just thinking about all this out on the fly. Like, if you're a top player, you're probably also getting called up to your national team,
Mhm.
and, like, you're probably like, you get a little bit of a break in May and June, and then July comes back around. You're back in training, and you're back on the road for, friendly games for your club. And in, like, World Cup years too, like this year too, they're gonna get maybe a few weeks off, these guys that play for their countries, and then go right back to get connected with their national teams and come over stateside, you know what I mean? And so, it's quite the life they live. They're all like, you know, there's a lot of heat you get from NFL players talking about, like, "Oh my god, 17 weeks, 18 weeks." Granted, it's a
Mhm.
much more physical sport, and the wear and tear on your body is insane compared to soccer. But longevity-wise, yeah, they're playing for quite a bit. They're playing for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 games a week, 3 games is a stretch, but 2 games a week. Yeah,
Mhm. Which is, I mean,
crazy.
really great, if you are a soccer fan, right? I mean, you have, action going for pretty much the entire year at
Oh,
that
yeah.
point, and then the time that you don't is, kind of peak summer months, you can hopefully enjoy other stuff outside of the sporting world, but that's a pretty fantastic thing because that doesn't even cover, for us or I guess, yeah, you're more of a soccer fan before this trip and everything too, but for me, who's
Yeah,
typically, traditionally, kinda just football and basketball, you're looking at similar, like, mid-August start, but then, college basketball wraps up first weekend of April every year. So you're getting
yeah,
a wider spread of coverage for just one sport on that, which is pretty
yeah.
cool, and I think kind of helps it have that identity, I guess, of kind of being the more, like, dominant sport in both Europe and other countries abroad.
They're also getting paid a ton of money to play these games, so,
Mhm.
yeah, they're it's justified. It's justified. But
Yeah,
yes. Alright, upcoming
absolutely.
topics?
Yeah, yeah, so that wraps up kind of our recap of our trip and our, comparing, sport in Europe versus sport here. Thought that was kind of a fun subject tied into, kind of what's going on in our current lives, and, now I just
Yeah,
kinda wanted to do a little look ahead in terms of some of the things that we're looking at for the future. So some upcoming topics we're looking at is maybe some NBA draft preview. Like we've got, the combine going on right now,
yeah.
which quick little sneak in there. Jeremy Fears is terrifying me right now. He just put up like 17 points, 5 assists, 1 turnover, and a couple of steals and 3 rebounds in a scrimmage during the combine, which is crazy considering he's 6 foot. I thought he wasn't going to be, maybe showing out as well or whatever.
Um,
But yeah, he maintained his college eligibility to come back. He might have his peak of his draft stock after this combine. We'll see.
uh, another quick plug, and Ren, fun fact, I don't know if you heard about this, Zach. He got called up to the regular,
Mhm.
uh, what is it, combine and not the G
Yeah.
League from the G League combine, which
Oh, I didn't realize I saw he got called up. I didn't even know that there was a G League combine. I did
there
see he got called up though. He was actually I think he was on Fears' team actually for the scrimmage, but he did not play.
he,
But
um,
good
he
for
got
him though.
called up from the G League combine because of his size, and yeah, which I thought was pretty cool, but I wouldn't be shocked, man, if Fears got pulled up this year. He's got the athleticism to do it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
that would
I
that would in fact change up 2026, 2027 MSU quite a bit, but yeah.
quite a lot. Yeah. No, I think there's been some serious talks. I mean, I think he's gonna get a serious here. I don't think this is gonna change anything because I still think that well, I don't know. I
Hey,
still think
hey,
height-wise, he's gonna be a little
think
short,
about it
but
this way.
Jalen Brunson's the king of New York right now, so
Think about it this way. There are guys that have gotten drafted and they're back in college. So for all you know, give him a couple years and Izzo's gonna have him coming right back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Izzo Izzo will be cold, cold, and rotting in his grave for years before he would let that happen.
I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair,
Yeah.
but still.
Anyways, yeah, don't want to dive too deep into it right now. We'll talk about that maybe in maybe even next week's episode, honestly. But
Yeah.
in a future episode. But yeah, that's an example though. Also tracking some transfer portal changes both in college football and basketball. We're gonna
Yeah.
try to get some more college football coverage worked into because we've been really focused on basketball for a while, then like this draft stuff. But
Yeah.
um, I think we'll
I
try
can't
to
wait.
shift back that way a bit, as well as coaching changes between the two sports. Uh, and then rule changes as well. There's a big NCAA ruling recently, as well as some other kind of smaller tweaks that we'll, I think, do an episode on to cover. And then that'll bring us to like mid to late July when we'll start doing our weekly conference previews for each of the power conferences and maybe some other stuff for the like Pac-12 group of 5/6, maybe is Pac-12 a group of 6, 5 school, whatever, or is it going to be a power school again? Who knows? Or power conference again? Yeah.
Yeah. It's kinda sad that it's not, but yeah. I'm
Well,
honestly
that's
ready for
that.
some
We'll see. I don't know. Like they're kind of assembling the all stars or like the remains of the Pac-12, like the all stars of the group of 5 schools. So
yeah.
they might ascend. We'll see.
I am personally so ready to be talking about football, like college football again. I I'm I hate this time of year always. Like, don't get me wrong, I love me some summer action. Like summer vibes are great, all right? But also nothing beats like September college football. Like like during the playoffs are chill, but, like, when you just come out of the summer, your team's back in play, you're getting to know the new guys on the team, you're getting to know, like, how teams are doing. Oh, I just, like I cannot wait for it to be, like I always get so emo when it's later in the year and football's, like, fading out, and, I cannot wait.
But anyways, yeah, so that's some of the upcoming topics that we are looking at covering as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to diving through that and kind of completing our first year
Full
cycle, I
year.
guess, of covering the sport. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun stuff. We've had some good milestones
Dude.
and stuff come along the way and everything. And it's been really fun doing this together.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy to think we're almost hitting a year. That's crazy. We
Yeah,
started last fall.
absolutely.
It was a crazy thing.
Yeah. So
Thanks for tuning in,
yeah.
everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much. As always, like, subscribe, rate, review, YouTube, Spotify, follow everything there. Um, email any questions, comments, or feedback you've got for us at officialboomerjr@gmail.com or drop a comment on the video or podcast on
Heck
Spotify.
yeah.
And check out our social medias. We were in a little bit of a dead period over during the Spain trip, just a little busy with that and the time change and Wi-Fi accessibility and everything, but we're gonna get those rolling again here now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook, so check those out. And with that, yeah, thank you very much. Have a good one. Viva la España.
Adios. Adios. Goodbye.
Bye.